Hey everybody, so I'm here with my buddy Yusuke, and we're going to talk about all the things you should never do in Japan. What's one example, Yusuke?
Don't be late.
Watch the video, we'll have some fun. Like Yusuke said, don't be late. Promptness is so valued in Japanese society that one of the most popular places to meet when you're going on a date or just meeting friends is in front of Hachiko statue at Shibuya Station. We all know the story of Hachiko, the famous Akita dog. This dog waited for his owner, Hidesaburo Ueno, at the station for 9 years, even after Ueno had already passed away. Hachiko became the symbol of loyalty in the minds of Japanese people. That's why it's such a popular place for young couples or friends to meet. Cue up video of Hachiko. You can find statues of this loyal dog all over Japan. The story of Hachiko has been depicted in movies, children's books, and various manga. You can find Hachiko's likeness on buses, t-shirts, keychains, just about anything you can imagine. You might have even seen the 2009 movie with Richard Gere, Hachi, A Dog's Tale. That begs the question, did they spell it T-A-I-L or T-A-L-E? Now, if you're going to be late and it's unavoidable, just call or send a message. Now, we're going to cover this later, but if you're on the train, don't call. Just send a message. Now, being late is not really a deal breaker. But if you're chronically late, you just might find yourself jobless and friendless. Not to mention single. Not to mention, I just mentioned it. Like Yusuke said, don't be late. Now, do Japanese people follow all the rules all the time? Actually, no. Show an example. Wait, did anybody else notice that? But remember what your parents used to say when one of your friends broke the rules. My dad always used to say, if your friends jumped off a cliff, would you jump too? No, Dad, I wouldn't. So just because we might see somebody break the rules sometimes, doesn't mean we should too. It's a good rule of thumb to just always be on your best behavior. Pay attention to what the people around you are doing, and just copy them. A common complaint many Japanese people have about their foreign neighbors is, we don't know how to separate trash. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. Paper goes in the paper bin. Plastic goes in the plastic bin. Bottles go in the bottle bin. And plastic bottles get their own special treatment. First, you gotta wash out the bottle, take off the cap, that goes in its own special place. Then you have to take off the plastic label. That goes in the plastic bin. Then you can throw away the bottle. Cardboard boxes take up a lot of space, so when you throw those out, make sure to break them down. There are completely different procedures for throwing out stuff like electronics, appliances, and furniture. My washing machine is begging to get thrown out right now. This Dyson still works, so we're going to keep it. Now, this may seem a little daunting at first. The good news is they come up with all these little charts to make it really easy for you. And your neighborhood or building will have a little schedule like this to tell you when it's okay to throw out which trash. It's become increasingly difficult to find public trash cans. Only a few train stations have them. Now, when you do find a garbage can in public, you still have to separate your trash. You'll find separate bins for bottles, cans, papers, and newspapers and magazines. Now, Yusuke said when you go on to meet friends, don't be late. But when you throw out garbage, don't be early. You don't want to leave trash laying around for a long time because the crows get into it and make a big mess. Pop quiz, where do chopsticks go? That's right, they go in the burnable garbage. And that's a perfect segue into our next topic, chopstick etiquette. Now, when you go to your favorite sushi restaurant and they give you a pair of chopsticks, what's the first thing most people do instinctively? That's right, break them apart and do this. That's a big no-no.
Why?
I've heard many explanations for this, so it's kind of hard to find out exactly what's correct. But doing that with your chopsticks is kind of like telling the owner of the restaurant that they've given you an inferior pair of chopsticks. So don't do that. Resist the urge. A lot of places, konbini restaurants are now giving out these chopsticks. You don't even have to break them apart, so it's not even an issue. Now, the obvious question. What if I don't know how to use chopsticks? That's simple. Just ask for a fork. In the beginning Japanese class, you learn how to say itadakimasu before you eat. When I came to Japan, I saw people hold their chopsticks like this and say itadakimasu. Kind of find out, that's bad manners. The proper thing is to put your hands together and say itadakimasu. Now, if you're at a restaurant and you're sharing food with friends and you've already used your chopsticks, don't use this part. Turn them around and use the back end to take food out of the middle of the table. Some other things you should never do with chopsticks. Never stab your food with chopsticks like you might with a fork. Never drag a dish across the table with your chopsticks. Never point with chopsticks. Avoid resting your chopsticks on a dish like this. Instead, use something like this. Don't use your chopsticks to hover over the table while you're choosing what to eat. Never stick your chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice. That's something you only see at funerals. Another thing you never do with chopsticks is pass food from chopsticks to chopsticks. They do that with the bones of the cremated body at a funeral. That's a big no. So when you visit a Japanese person's home, you'll find a pair of slippers in the bathroom. Put those on, do your business, and then take them off before you leave the bathroom. I can't tell you how many times I've walked back into the living room wearing those slippers. Really, we've all done it. Come on, admit it, you have too.